Hey everyone, welcome back to another Literalist reaction video. I'm Dave. With me, as always, my good buddy John Doe.
Pleasure to be here, Dave.
Mm.
How's it hanging?
It's hanging quite well. Hanging with you and listening to fun music is always fun.
That's correct.
So we've done a couple of different genres recently. So
Yeah.
tell me about today.
Well, we're still in the 70s, Dave. It is my favorite place to be.
It's because you weren't quite so old.
Yeah, I was a young man once, only I wasn't an angry young man. Now, we recently did a song called Fooling Yourself, Angry Young Man. And the moment I saw that title, it reminded me of another song called Angry Young Man. Actually, it's called Prelude, Angry Young Man, and it's by Billy Joel. Now, before you begin playing, I just really quickly, when I say to you, Billy Joel, what comes to mind? What do you think?
Like guitars, just strumming a guitar. Or
Really?
no, wait. Sorry, no, I take that completely back. I was
You
thinking of
should.
a different person. Didn't he do Piano Man?
He did do Piano Man.
Okay, yeah. That's what I think of. Piano Man.
Nothing else? You don't think anything like Billy Joel has no meaning to you whatsoever,
Piano Man.
other than Piano Man?
Did he do the rocket ship one? And it's gonna be
No,
a
that's
long,
that's
long time.
no, that's Elton John.
See,
But he's
it's music,
also a
John.
piano man. You had that down. All right, Dave, hit it.
Okay, piano.
Now, lyrics ain't gonna come into play for a minute.
Southern twang.
There's a place in the world for the angry young man with his working class ties and his radical plans. He refuses to bend, he refuses to crawl, and he's always at home with his back to the wall. And he's proud of his scars and the battles he's fought, and he struggles and bleeds as he hangs on his cross, and he likes to be known as the angry young man.
All right. So we had almost a 2-minute intro there. That stylistically was multiple different change ups, which I always love it when they put different sounds into the same style of music or the same song. Um, Musically, I think this is just about how many people have a persecution complex that they
No,
they
lyrically.
lyrically, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously have heard barely any of the lyrics because 2-minute intro, but
Right.
but yeah, solid musically. That was a lot of fun.
I think personally, I think Billy Joel said, "I know I'm going to write a piano part that will never be played by a cover band because they're going to go, I can't do that."
Yeah, it was all over the place, and then suddenly there was a harmonica with a southern twang just shoved into it. It went perfectly well, but I just didn't see it coming. But yeah, so far, well done. Here we go.
Moment or two to the angry young man with his foot in his mouth and his heart in his hand. He's been stabbed in the back, he's been misunderstood.
I feel like you don't hear keyboard and piano on the same song often.
Yeah, in the 70s, you did a lot more certainly than today. Today, actually, one of the things I find most fascinating about both of those albums, and I never really even picked it up until now, is both of them are using the Moog, Moog, the Moog keyboard. It was invented by Robert Moog, and when it first came out, some keyboard players like snatched it up because it was supposed to be this hot new thing, and then they found out that you can't play more than one key at the same time. It was not
What?
a polysynth; it was a monosynth. So that kind of a slipping sound you hear as it goes from one note to the next is inherent to it, and you could adjust how much it slipped it and carried up to the next note. But it only
Huh.
played one note at a time, and that's why the sound is so unique in a Moog keyboard.
That is entirely fascinating that like technology held I don't both held back music to a point, but then also gave it a brand new sound at the same time.
Yeah, and it was intentional because organs were out, keyboards were out. He designed it to be a monosynth.
Hmm. Fascinating. All right, here we go.
There's always a place for the angry young man with his working class ties and his radical plans. He refuses to bend, he refuses to crawl, and he's always at home with his back to the wall. And he's proud of his scars and the battles he's lost, and he struggles and bleeds as he hangs on his cross, and he likes to be known as the angry young man.
Oh, back to it. Mm, mm. Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed I'm sure there's some technical name for it, like the circular writing where the beginning and the end both spoke the same language. That was a lot of fun to listen to. It felt like it wrapped up the song very nicely.
Okay, cool.
It
And
tied it
I
up in a
think
bow.
I think you nailed the meaning of it. Somebody who just likes to suffer.
Yeah, you always got to have something to suffer about, and there's so much. I mean, there is a lot of suffering in the world for sure,
Yeah.
but there's also a lot of fun in the world, and I freely admit I will always be one of those people who thinks there are far more good people in the world than bad people. I have always thought so. And I think it's because um, anytime, and I think Mr. Rogers said this far better than I will be able to say what I'm about to say, but anytime you see a disaster, you see a man made disaster. So someone starts a war or so there's a shooting or whatever it is, you see like one and or a few crazed people, and then you see hundreds, if not thousands, of people trying to help the victims. And I think it's very unfair to sit around and fear monger and be angry and depressed because everyone is out to get you when that's not close to true. Most people are not out to get you.
Right.
A few are, but most people are helpful, are kind, will try to do their best to make your life better, and reciprocally. So, yeah, I totally get where he's coming lyrically, but he said it in a very fun song. With man, he is a master of piano. That is for sure. I would
Yeah, he's
love to hear
quite
him
a
play some
talent.
classical stuff.
The second concert I ever went to was Billy Joel, and it was 1980. And his energy and his playing and his ability to drink alcohol and still perform and sing were off the charts.
All right, well, there's
Sure.
a skill set.
But I like the line. My favorite line of his, I think, on this song, I found that just surviving was a noble fight. I love that
mm.
line.
That
So, do
is
we have a
solid.
playlister here, Dave?
I think it's gonna be a solid yes. A yes on the
Yeah.
playlist.
Nailing
Yeah.
another playlister.
It was a fun song. Piano Man, like I said, is the only Billy Joel song I think I can name. I tried to name another one, wasn't Billy Joel. I could try to name some more. Pretty sure they wouldn't be Billy Joel.
I bet you if we ran through his 10 most played songs of all time, you'd recognize 8 of the 10.
Oh,
Probably.
probably, that I had nebulously heard. Piano Man is the only
Right.
one that both I was sure on and I could sing along with. I like that song a lot, so I've definitely heard that one. But outside of Piano Man, no, I've never dug into any Billy Joel.
And he's quite a talent. And he's known later in life for some of his sappier, poppier songs. But early on, we didn't know whether he was country or rock or Dylan reorganized, or we didn't know what he was. But let me tell you, he was special. His early albums are just amazing. But that's because they happened in the 70s when all music was great. If you feel differently, leave a comment for us. Like the video, and if you have a direction you like us to go, please don't choose Piano Man. We know that one. Let's go a little under the surface, and we'll be listening, always listening.